Hey everyone, it's Jeff Fisher of High School Football America. The smile on my face might be a little bit bigger right now because I am via technology in my hometown of the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania with two dear friends, two great high school football coaches, and they're going to go head to head coming up Friday night. Northwestern versus Notre Dame or Notre Dame versus Northwestern. I don't want to give anybody a top billing here.
Mhm.
And Phil Stambaugh and Josh Snyder and Phil Stambaugh are here to talk to me. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about a pretty darn big game on Friday night.
Yeah, this is an exciting time of year, and Jeff, thank you for having us on. And I Josh and I have a great relationship, so I'm happy to do this and have our game showcased this way on High School Football America.
Well, you guys not only are rivals right now going at each other as head coaches, but I'm going to dial it back and we'll start with you, Josh, since you won a state championship last year. Phil doesn't have one of those yet, and one of you is going to be in the way of the other one trying to get one this year. But you guys played at Lehigh together. You were a great wide receiver. Phil, he was a decent quarterback. He knows what I feel about him. He was a great quarterback. And I just want to know if we can start there a little bit. He said that you guys have a good relationship. What does this game mean to you from a standpoint of knowing the guy on the other side of the sidelines? You've known him for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Phil since I've been 17 years old. Going up to Lehigh, visiting with my brother, who was rooming with Phil and Cody Fedorcha, and the Lehigh Valley connection was certainly strong when we went there. So going to Lehigh, playing with Phil, those guys have really took me under their wings, and I was fortunate enough to play quite a bit as a sophomore in a four wide receiver sets, and caught a bunch of passes from Phil, and we won a couple of league championships at Lehigh. And both being head coaches now in the Lehigh Valley, I know it means a lot to me being at my alma mater. And Phil was at Pius, and then some things happened. And of course, he's been at Notre Dame for a while, and we've gone at it a couple times here over the last decade, and in really playoffs mainly, and it's been going back and forth. And this is a great matchup. Both teams are 12-0. We both play in the same league, but in different divisions. And they were the one seed, we were the two seed. So sort of eyeballing each other, during the course of the season, and seeing where your matchup might be. We kind of sort of figured we'd be one or two, and they would be one or two. And so meeting up here, it's great. Both great programs in the Lehigh Valley, and it's going to bring a lot of positive energy to our league. And I know for us, making the run that we did the last couple of years, when you make it, out of district, everybody sort of pulls and roots for, the guys that are still playing. So that's been a great thing to have happen, and we're really excited for the game Friday.
Phil, we'll flip it over to you. You played at the highest level, getting into the NFL, but it all started, as he said, at Pius X. You'd probably still be there if the school hadn't closed.
Right.
But when it comes to the guy in the other part of the screen there, just out of curiosity, can you go back to Lehigh and knowing all those things that you did, that connection you had as QB and wide receiver and all that? Does that help you when you're game planning and then matching wits on Friday night?
I think that it helps a little bit, and I've known Josh, like he said, since he's been 17. I went to see him play when he was playing for Northwestern, and I remember what a talent he was on the field as a high school player. And I said to his brother Brett, I said, "Geez, I hope he's coming to Lehigh because I want him to be on our team." And we were fortunate enough to get him to come to Lehigh, and what an outstanding career he had there. And we've had a friendship for a long time through being teammates, and now, as Josh said, rival coaches. And I respect everything that he does in his program. I watched their state playoff runs and their state championship runs, and wanted the best for him and his team. And I still do. Not necessarily on Friday night against our own, but whoever wins the game, and I think we have a good enough respect for each other that the other one is going to be rooting to see that guy go on and do the best that they can.
Yeah.
But I know what kind of talent, game planning for Josh is difficult, because of what outstanding athlete he was, and that's I see a lot of that the way he played the game in the team that he coaches, and so yeah, I might recognize a few things that he's doing, but I'm certainly not going to share those right now.
I didn't think you would. I'll go to the highest bidder afterwards. Maybe you'll each give me a little tip here and there. Hey Josh, mentioned it at the top. You know, you won the state championship last year. You mentioned it. You're playing in your hometown. You're coaching in your hometown, I should say. And both of you are from small towns in Pennsylvania, which I love. And we're national right now, so I just wanted to give you a second or two to kind of explain Nutropoli. Some people may call it Nutripoli when they see it spelled on highschoolfootballamerica.com. But talk about the little community you're from and how it makes you who you are, whether it was when you were a player, as a head coach now, winning state championships at your alma mater. Take it away. Be the ambassador, the Chamber of Commerce, if you will, for Northwestern Lehigh.
Yeah, certainly. It's a place that definitely is home for me. I think I lived. I'll be 46 here in a little bit, and I've lived here for I think 42 years of my life. The other four I was in Bethlehem for a couple of years. But what I love about it most is there's one stoplight in the district. There's not really a town. It's more of a village. But I can go for a coffee or some donuts at the gas station and bump into 8 people that I knew. 5 of them were probably my dad's buddies that go there every Sunday morning, and they are also at every Friday night football game. And it's just it's a whole community of people that come together and want what's best for each other. And I think that's the high school and the kids and you can really see that in the way that the district pours into academics and athletics. We're really strong across the board, and the people will go out of their way to make you feel comfortable, make you feel at home. Unless you're an opponent coming into our football stadium, and then maybe not so much then. But after the game, like Phil said, after the game, you can shake hands and pat each other on the back and go back to being buddies, and that's what the town really is all about. And athletics is a big thing. Our youth programs, the NYAA does an excellent job of just having fun and getting kids involved in sports and getting kids involved in athletics. And it's I can't say enough about my experience coming up through. I knew playing. I really enjoyed it. I didn't really get into teaching and coaching immediately, but when that sort of light switch flipped, I knew that I couldn't do it anywhere other than Northwestern because of what it meant to me. And I'm not going anywhere until my kids are through and I'm done. So I feel really at home, and thanks for the spot there.
Hey Phil, as I said, Pius X, your alma mater, the place where you got your first head coaching job, that is closed. But I know you are a small town guy at heart. I know you love everything about Rosetto, what it's done for you, and of course what you've given back to that community. But I also know that you brought that to Notre Dame now. You believe in family and in giving guys and the kids the opportunity to be their best performing on the field and all that. I would love to see if you could blend that for me. How does Rosetto fit into what you're doing at Notre Dame and the success you've had there?
Pius was a place that and you're right, Jeff. I never would have left there. That was a small single A football program, small Italian community, family-oriented community, faith-based community with the Catholic education that we had at Pius. And unfortunately, that school closed. And what I found at Notre Dame was probably as close as what I could have found from what my experience was at Pius. The way I look at it is I can relate to the kids that are sitting in the classroom and playing sports and working in the community because I was that kid. Now it's getting to be years and years removed, but I was that kid at one time. And I played at the Smalls, and I believe in what we do and the team first mentality that we have, and making sure that everybody is a part of what we're doing. I believe in that, and I think that comes through in the program that we run, and we do get kids from different places, and we've got to try and blend that all together and make it a successful program. And I think we do a good job of that because it's not about just one guy. And when the kids come into our program and they see that, I think that they buy into what their roles are going to be, and they're accepted, and they enjoy it, and we've built success upon that. Being a team first guy, I tried to instill that in my players and the program we run, and that came from Rosetto and my roots. And when I go back there, just like Josh said, when I go back there and I get to see all the people that I knew growing up, the guys that coached me or people that I played with or families that I know, I see a lot of the Pius families coming through Notre Dame now too, which is special for me because they're not coming because of me, but they see those same things in Notre Dame that we all saw in Pius. And that's special to me. And I think that Notre Dame had a lot of those characteristics there, and I was able to find that and connect that. And I'm very fortunate for that. And I thank Chuck Muller, who was the first guy that really helped me connect to that program.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Quarterfinal, berth on the line, 3A Pennsylvania football, playing this deep when it's cold and chilly. It's always a good time. Josh, back to you. You won the state championship last year. If I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, I think there's some crazy stat that right now you guys are on a 28 game win streak with the football program, and I think your girls' soccer program has won over 50.
Yeah.
Um, that's nuts in and of itself. But the real question is, how did that change you, if in any way, shape, or form? Because a lot of people, get that ring and okay, I'm good. I've been there, done that. Now you're knocking on the door maybe for two in a row. So tell me how last year's championship made a difference in you as a head coach and a leader there in the community.
Yeah, I mean, being a player, the ultimate goal is to win a state championship. Unfortunately, at Northwestern, we made it to the Eastern Final my senior year, and
I remember that game, by
but
the way.
it was close, but it wasn't close at the end. So we give
Let's
it
just
out.
say that.
Coming back and being a coach again, your goal is to ultimately win a state championship, but you have all the core values that you want to instill and all that, and you want to do it the right way. And there were some times in my career, I can't believe I've been a head coach of my 14th year, I think this year
You're
already.
old, man. You're
Yeah.
old. Phil's even older. I've got you
Yeah.
beat by 20, probably.
But there were some times that I think I probably doubted that we could ever get it done. There was a lot of things that go against you, but I think when
Mhm.
the six class system opened up, it made that dream a reality, or at least a possibility. Um, and the 2023 season, we made a little bit of a run in the playoffs and lost to Newman Goretti. That gave us a lot of confidence in winning the district championship to get back there and take another step forward. And we were able to do that the following year and make it to the state final. And we beat a great Wyomissing team in the semis at Kutztown University, and then got throttled by a team from Western PA that was just a lot better than us. And coming into last year, we had a lot of those pieces returning, and we were able to run the table. And it was not only a great thing for the community, but a big career highlight for me personally to say that we could sort of get there and we could do it, like you said, in a small town. And that was a great feeling. And I think it was Urban Meyer that said, the only thing you can do is get back to work on trying to win another one. You
Yeah.
can't really relax and enjoy it. I still don't know if it's fully set in, and it might not for a while. But what it does is make the off season extremely short. You lose some time in the weight room, and pretty soon it's summer camp already, and you're off and running with the next crew. And that's where we are. Where we had lofty goals coming into the season. However, we had a lot of turnover with some really incredible seniors. We had the 3A player of the year, Eli Zimmerman, graduate. He's at Bloomsburg, getting a lot of playing time as a freshman. We lost 4 out of 5 starting offensive linemen. Our whole defensive line is brand new. And a lot of those kids that took and filled those slots are seniors. And I'm proud that they stayed with the program. And a lot of kids would have probably bagged it. But I really owe a lot of credit to those seniors for sticking it out. There's 5 or 6 of them that are first year starters
Wow.
and are doing a credible job for us. And yeah, we're excited for the ride. It's the numbers are a little bit surreal, but we try to take it one game at a time, one week at a time, and go from there.
Was I right about I know your streak is right. Am I right? Are the girls still undefeated in soccer?
Girls are in the state semifinal tomorrow. Yeah.
Congrats. That's awesome. Hey Phil, you guys were road warriors this year.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna preface this so everybody understands where I'm coming from. As I said at the top, Phil played at Lehigh, and Lehigh's arch rival is Lafayette, the long played college football rivalry. Phil does not like Lafayette. He doesn't like the color maroon. He doesn't like anything. But Josh, I think he had to go to Lafayette and win in the
Yeah.
Quite
semis.
a few
I tell you
times.
what, watching film on Notre Dame and seeing them on that field doesn't look right. I'm
No,
sure
it
it
didn't
doesn't
feel
feel
right
right.
either.
But what's it been like not having a home game this year? Tell us a little bit about that and how the guys have adapted and some of that leadership. Like he said, a couple of players he lost last year. Get a couple of names in there for us too.
Yeah. I'll start by saying Lafayette was very hospitable to us. They helped us out a lot, but
Okay.
the rivalry does not waver. I was not comfortable there. It did work out well for us because I am proud to say we are still undefeated on that field. But
Including going back to your days as the quarterback
including
of
the
the
playing days.
Mountain Lion,
Yeah.
well, Mountain Hawks. I was going to say
No, no.
Engineers and got Mountain Hawks.
Yeah, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable to see all the maroon and everything. Beautiful place. It just it says Lafayette everywhere. But yeah, we had to play on the road the whole season, even giving up two of our pseudo home games to play at our league opponents' homes instead.
hmm
And we're getting a new academic field house on our campus, so we're going to have new locker rooms and weight room facility and classrooms, and because the school is growing and things are going really well from that end, and we had a sacrifice this year, and that was a challenge to our seniors, especially because of how connected we are to our home crowd and playing on our own field and doing all that in a small community and having to go out on the road was a challenge, and I'm proud to say that our kids took that in stride. We lifted under a tent all year this year outside. We were
Wow.
outside today in 40 degrees lifting weights, and the kids have embraced that, and I think it's made us better because of it. And the kids did not waver throughout any of that. Whatever was thrown at them, they absorbed it. I think they were conscious of it, and I'm not going to say that they liked it, but at the same time, that's what we were asked to do. And as we make this march and go into the playoffs, which we have done, I think that it has put us in a good spot because of that adversity. And I'm proud of my seniors for being able to weather that storm and and be able to win and be leaders in other ways when they didn't have their home field to surround them in their home community. But I will say that the Notre Dame group that follows us when we play was at everything that we did, no matter where we played. They were there to support us, and I can't thank them enough for that. And our student body and all that, was very supportive throughout the whole transition and everywhere that we had to play and go and compete this year.
So now it's not a big deal playing at Catasauqua on Friday night. It's an away game. You've been playing them all year long.
Yeah, yeah.
Before I go into the last question about the game itself and send you guys off to get back to game planning against each other, both of you mentioned Brett Snyder. That is Josh's brother, late brother, who just battled ALS to the nth degree. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody battle like that against that horrible disease. But that takes me to the question that I want to throw at both of you, which is one of the biggest questions I get now being on the national scene is Jeff, who are the best players you've ever seen? And invariably, Brett Snyder's name comes out of my mouth because I think pound for pound, Brett Snyder, who played at Northwestern Lehigh, and then went on to Lehigh, your brother, your teammate, your roommate, was as tough as they came. And I just wanted to spend a few moments here to kind of talk a little bit about him and how you remember him as a brother and as a football player and as someone you probably looked up to. And Phil, same thing. I'm going to start with Josh, obviously, because it's his brother. But when you close your eyes and you think of brother Brett, Josh, what brings a smile to your face?
I mean, he was a heck of a football player, but I think he was even a better person. No one had a bigger heart than he did, and he was an incredible leader. He got everything out of his abilities, that he possibly could. He rushed for 2,000 some yards as a senior, and then went to Lehigh and blocked for a living. So I mean, he sacrificed quite a bit. I'll tell you another funny story about him and his leaderships. When I was a sophomore, we were making a playoff run, and it was snowing outside, and there was a lot of snow, and a couple of people were messing around in the defensive huddle, and I started corner as a sophomore, and I happened to have a snowball in my hand and might have or might not have tossed it at somebody. And before you knew it, I was on my back, and he pretty much said, "You're not going to ruin my senior year by messing around in the huddle." And I'm pretty sure I didn't start it, but he didn't let me finish it. And stuff like that. It's pretty good. That's totally a Brett move right there. And he's less a long lasting impression on a lot of us, I'm sure. And he's certainly remembered every day by me.
Yeah. I've the first football game that I ever shot with a camera when I was in television. One of the first days I worked in television was I think it was Northwestern and Catasauqua. I had never picked up a camera, and Brett went wild, and just I can still see some of those runs to this day. And Coach Mitchell going, "Can I have that tape? We need to show it to people. No one's recruiting the guy." And the rest, I guess, is history. And before I get to Phil, people do get shocked when they're like, "Brett, who? Who the hell is Brett Snyder?" But I really believe pound for pound, he was that good. Like you said, great runner. Then he became a blocker. I mean, how do you feel about my comment about Brett?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of those guys that leaves a mark somehow, some way, some shape on a football field. He caught quite a number of passes, probably more than he ran it in college.
Yeah,
Whether it's at screens or F out into the flat, or hitting an opposite or something like that. And at that time, they used to keep track of cut blocks, and he broke the single game record for cut blocks. And he could do everything. You ask him to block, he could block. You ask him to run it, he could run it. Pass protect, catch the ball out into the flat. And I know he was extremely athletic for a big guy. He got up to, I think, 6'1", 240 after weighing probably 205 in high school.
yeah.
He was an ultimate team player. But pound for pound, yeah, I would put him up there. I think they might even created a fullback all league position somewhere around when he went through there. So that'll tell you how good of a football player he was.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Phil. Like I said, I think I've said that to you before about Brett, but what are some of the things that you remember most about him as a teammate and a real talented football player?
Well, I'll say going back into high school and the big ticket sports show that used to be here that Jeff you started in the Lehigh Valley, Brett was the main feature on that a
Yeah,
lot of nights when we were watching that. And before he was my teammate, I used to idolize him and see him and play and see what a great player he was for Northwestern. And then I got the opportunity to play with him in college, and like Josh said, like he could do everything. But what was asked of him was to be the fullback and to sacrifice and not really touch the ball. And but when he did get his opportunities to make a play, he made them, and he protected me to help our offense be successful. And the fact that he was able to do that and sacrifice and stuff says a lot, so much about his character and the person that he was. And that, I think, is, as Josh said too, is more important than the football player that he was. And that's why he has the lasting memory, I think. And the things that he did on the field were great, but the things he did off the field were amazing as well. And I fondly remember getting the opportunity to play with him and the relationship that we developed over the years. And to see Josh's team still have a number of their players wear towels that have number 35 on it
wow.
is really amazing, and it's special. And I know we've been on the the losing end of playing Josh the last couple times, but I made sure that when I went to see those kids that were wearing those towels, I thanked them.
Yeah, well, I can see what it meant to you. No doubt about that. just a wonderful guy that brings a smile to my face to this day. No doubt about that. I'll go to Josh and let you collect yourself there for a second, Phil, because I know how much Brett meant to you. And Josh, I'm going to, do this for me. At this point, I'm going to ask you, what do you have to do right? But do me proud in this Lehigh Valley interview we're doing from Atlanta, Georgia right now. Don't give me coach speak, but what do you have to do right Friday night to get to the quarterfinals and beat Phil?
I can tell you, yeah, they're loaded with talent. Phil does an outstanding job of collecting talented kids, and those kids just perform for him. He's got another trigger man setting all kinds of records at quarterback. They get the ball out quick to a number of different playmakers. Defensively, they're fast. They fly around the field. They're physical. They make plays, and they make a lot of splash plays on both sides of the ball. Being a head coach for this many years and playing in a lot of big games, it comes down to a couple things: whether you can run, block, tackle, and the team that makes a couple more plays in crunch time typically has a leg up. So, when it comes down to it, you got to have the kids that make plays, protect the football, and go out and play with reckless abandon.
Yeah, no, I was just joking about the coach speak. You're right. It comes down to those things. Phil, what do you have to do to get over that hump? I've said it to you for years. I think you're one of the greatest offensive minds in high school football in the country. Not because you're my friend, but I've seen it from the inside. I know what you do. What do you have to do Friday night to get to that next level? And yeah, make it hurt for a little bit on them, but then you'll come together as district champions if that happens. But what do you have to do?
I think the main thing against a team like Josh is that it's so dynamic and they have such versatility and strengths in all facets of what they do. We cannot hurt ourselves. We cannot turn the ball over and have mental errors and we have to find to make play ways to make plays in all those facets of the game, knowing that they're also going to make a lot of plays. It's going to be a challenge certainly because I know how well they're coached and how quality of the kids they have in the program. And if you won that many games in a row, there's certainly a big reason for it. And number two is that those kids expect to win. So
Mhm.
it's going to take everything we have to change that. So I think we have to protect our opportunities and play a sound game. And all the things that Josh just said about us, we have to be able to do that. And ultimately, and I believe it too, the team that blocks and tackles the best is gonna win. My dad says that all the time, and it's true, obviously in big games, but there's a lot of other factors too. And I think that both teams are trying to pinpoint those factors and do the best that they can on this stage and have the opportunity to do what Northwestern did last year. They want to do it again, and we want to do it for the first time.
Well, coach speak is coach speak for a reason, folks. There's a lot of truth in it, no doubt about it. Well, even in Atlanta, I get to keep up with the Lehigh Valley, and I know it's tough. You're a game away from the state quarters, but maybe two of the best in 3A are meeting on Friday night. Two great friends, two smart high school football coaches that love the game, giving back to their community. I thank you guys both for A, being my friend, and B, doing what you do. More importantly, for all the student athletes that you've touched through the years, and just thank you for taking the time. And best of luck. I wish, ties don't work, but I guess if I want to be equal going out, I gotta say, I wish you could tie and both move on and go into the state championship game or something. But anyway, thank you guys so much.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Joe.
having us.